The most important meal of the day, second breakfast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Hi, everybody.
So, we're just going to dive right in here. We were in the middle of what we like to call the Gauntlet, or as it's sometimes pronounced, the Gauntlet, which is my favorite thing that Phil ever says. It's a series of multiple choice questions given to us by a single author or team of authors, but it's one cohesive thing, and it is designed to test us to the very souls of our movie fandom by offering us impossible choices. It is the Kobayashi Maru of the original Wrath of Khan, not Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh, fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
I mean, come on. And that's what I got. And the reason we have split this gauntlet into two, because we don't like to do it usually, is because Phil...
Wait a minute.
No, this is not to blame you. No, this is not. There's no blame here. There's no blame here.
Okay. Feeling blamed already.
No, Phil. I love you like a brother, and
You don't blame me.
It might be my favorite thing you've ever done. So even though I love you like a brother,
Let me take over for a second. This gauntlet was written by a friend of Andy's named Damon, and
everything he's saying so far is true.
Oh, which by the way, we talk about the gauntlet. I think part of the thing y'all need to understand is like a gauntlet could be written by you. This is
yes.
It is a viewer experience, a viewer originated experience. We don't write the questions. We don't pick the movies. All we do is we don't create the gauntlet. All we do is run it. And sometimes we run it better than other times. It turns out that Damon is a particularly cruel gauntlet master. Maybe the cruelest I've ever met. I thought it was our director, Keith Procaro, but Damon really took things up a notch. And in response, I kind of lost my mind.
There are no words that I can describe Phil's performance in part one of this gauntlet. There's no words I can use because we are a family podcast.
I haven't been that angry at someone that I was not either related to or married to since like college. Like I don't remember a time when I was, and it makes sense because college is when you get angry about things that don't matter towards people who don't matter on principle. To me, that's what college really stands for. So
sure.
Thanks for taking me back, Damon. I might have called Damon a racist. I might have told him that he was a forgettable human being. I'm not saying I did. I'm saying I might have. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even ready. I'm not ready to say I'm sorry. But I'm ready to say that I'm gonna be able to say I'm sorry someday.
So, folks, the part one of this gauntlet, it was. You will, if you have not experienced it already, get your life together and either watch it on YouTube or listen to it. It is wonderful. You will thank us. It was amazing, and I had a front row seat. Part of
Damon,
the thing,
it really took me to the dark tea time of my soul. And the reality is that Damon turns out he's sort of like the Kaiser Soze of gauntlets. It's really
fair.
It's not good.
So part of what threw Phil, I think, and I think, Phil, tell me if I'm wrong about this, is that the thing that upset you was like a hidden part of the gauntlet, right? And that's not a necessary thing, guys. You don't have to get all crazy. Just tough, good, smart questions in a row, and we're good, and we'll go with it. But I have another surprise from you from Damon.
Oh God, really? Wait, do you really though?
I do. He didn't do this as a surprise. I emailed him after we shot part one of the Gauntlet. I was like, dude, you're not even ready for how crazy Phil gets. And
this is, I feel a little, what's that word I'm looking for? Betrayed by my partner? No, go ahead, Tango.
No,
you know what?
No, you're going to like this one. You're going to like this.
All right, Tango.
You're gonna like it.
All right, Tango.
So
okay.
I mentioned to him that, like you got angrier than I think I've ever seen you on this podcast. And his response was, oh, man, I was going for droll, and I got to infuriating. Guess I overshot the mark on that one. So there's I don't want to put words in his mouth, and I don't want to necessarily go as far as regret, but he's had some misgivings. He's coming back to the fold.
Well, I think that is helpful, and I will say second breakfast Phil getting angry is not like no one gets hurt here, you know? I guess what I'm saying is if Damon showed up at my house right now, I'd invite him in and make him breakfast. Like there's no bad blood. There's no bad blood.
Sure.
It's like and I think the benefit of being as ridiculous a person as I am is that my anger is essentially cartoon anger. Like really
welcome to the club.
Like,
yes, I do.
Like,
Phil, I do know.
If I ever tried to do anything to Damon, an anvil would probably fall on my head.
That's
so
right.
it's really
That's
like
right.
we're good, Damon. Damon, we're good.
He would run
Although I'm
through
saying
the
that
painting of the of the tunnel,
and then I would have run right into it. That's
right into the mountain. Yeah, totally.
He would have been standing at the thing going, "No, from an engineering standpoint, this is a little wrong." I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna forgive him fully because we're not done with this gauntlet, and I might get angry again.
That's fair.
But fair. I think he's a lovely man.
Agreed. So let's dive in. In the first part of this podcast, we did parts 1 and 2 of Damon's Gauntlet. So let's dive in with part 3.
Oh boy.
Titled "A Little Break." Smoke 'em if you got 'em. So
okay.
You are a run-of-the-mill. This is question 8. You're a run-of-the-mill resident of Manhattan, so your net worth is probably in the $6 to $7 million range. You're a run-of-the... See what I did there? Gentrification. You're a run-of-the-mill resident of Manhattan in one of the following movie worlds. A. Soylent Green. B. Escape from New York. C. The Warriors. Now, I have to take issue with this question, and here's why.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what he wants us to do. Is this where we...
Oh, come on, you know that he wants us to do. We're supposed to pick one. Which one would you prefer to be the run-of-the-mill resident in?
Sure.
That's how I hear the question. And I think
fair. But even within that is like, which one do I think I'd live the longest in? Which one would I have the most fun in?
Well, I think that's the description. I think that's how you make your decision, Andy. I think that's how you make your decision.
That's fair.
Where do you want to live in one of these 3 Manhattans?
And why?
And why? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I'm still sort of puzzling through it. Soylent Green has maybe one of the most famous final lines in movie history. It is a spoiler, but I'm not as concerned about the implications. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not as concerned about the implications there, because
as maybe you should be.
As maybe I should be, but like, I don't want to give too much away, but like, there's only so much I care about once I'm dead. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Having said that, overcrowding, present day New York is overcrowded enough for me. Thank you very much. Escape from New York. I'd like to think that I would be a force for good in Manhattan, or at the very least have an awesome car or something in a totally lawless Manhattan. But let's be honest, I would do something stupid and get killed in about 45 minutes.
Likewise, myself.
My answer is the Warriors, because as much as it glorifies gang violence, and I want to be very clear on something, it glorifies. There is it is like gang violence, misogyny, and all sorts of other things that we shouldn't like are actually secretly kind of badass and awesome. I don't.
Yep.
It is not. I am not paying myself a compliment when I say my masculinity receives a boost every time I watch that movie, and I have a good time.
Right, the same way Wolf of Wall Street makes you feel that way.
Indeed.
It's not right,
yes.
Right.
But I feel like this was the time in New York when I wouldn't be taking the subway at 2 a.m, so I feel like I would be able to avoid even the 8 zillion gangs that are in that movie. I feel like I would last longer and enjoy my life more as just a regular dude in the world of the Warriors.
Yeah, I didn't have any complex response to this. I mean, to me, it was the Warriors on a number of levels. It really was. One of those is, the other two are futuristic, this is what happens to New York in the future. Mm-hmm. The Warriors really isn't. It's really just a commentary on 1970s New York, which they survived. People managed to survive that. Yes. At least four people did. And
And they repopulated the island just like Noah and his family.
And if I had to go to bed after sundown just to make sure that I wasn't killed by a roving gang of gangbangers on roller skates with
Before
funny
sundown, I think you mean.
right, I do.
Yes,
Before sundown, with gangbangers on roller skates,
right,
wearing like Indian headdresses and things. You know what? Just so I could see those guys during the day. Like, I'm in for that. Like, I feel like I could follow whatever rules you needed to follow to essentially survive in the Warriors.
Yes.
I can't make that same claim about Escape from New York and Soylent Green. I can't.
That's true.
And it really is all about survival.
You know, so
yeah.
So I'm sorry I interrupted you. This tiny little fantasy I've had about the Warriors. I would love for like there to be like a deleted scene where the baseball Furies gang actually turns out to be the New York Yankees, like letting off some steam, because they're folks who haven't seen the movie, they're in pinstripes just like the Yankees. But their faces are painted so you can't really tell who they are. I want them to be the actual Yankees, just like letting off steam from getting swept over the weekend. The other thing that I want to say about this, just real quick, as a public service announcement about the Warriors. The Warriors is when someone asks me, and I get asked this question not never, it's happened 2 or 3 times in my life, like director's cut versus theatrical edition. The director's cut of the Warriors is almost unwatchable. It is.
Oh wow!
Because here's the deal: it's not a good movie. It's an awesome movie, and what I mean by that, you know what I mean?
No, right? Of course.
If you do not buy in to the violence and the
campy performances, and the weird art direction right away,
the baser aspects of our nature, let me put it that way. Okay, sure. If you don't buy into that, there's no social commentary. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
There are no performances to latch onto. There's no greater meaning. It's not the cinematography is not amazing. So all that it's got going for it is this is a shot of adrenaline that if you're a dude, or I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and make the blanket statement. I feel like men would like this movie more than women, because it is, again, you can't escape the gender politics.
It's almost, yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah. Yes. I mean, I like. I forget what we were talking about. Oh, you know what? You were talking about Louis yesterday, and you said I don't like anybody should like Louis.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And there's a part of me that's like, nah. There's a whole group of people that will never like Louis, and that's just the deal. Now, it's a completely different kind of quality. I think it is the highest quality Louis C.K.'s work.
Yes.
But like I would never say to my mom, you should check this out.
Fair.
You know? Now, but like it's interesting. It's an interesting idea. There are things that it's like we recognize they're good, or that they're, I don't know, entertaining, or they have something. Mm-hmm. But like Wolf of Wall Street was hands down my favorite comedy of last year.
Yes.
My wife was like, "Well, I want to see it," and I was like, "Maybe you shouldn't." Now, I think she'd be fine seeing it, and it would be okay.
Right.
But I'm not sure I want you to see me laughing when I laugh. Like, I'm not sure I want you to recognize just the depths of who I am, because that's probably would be bad for everybody.
Folks, there is a scene where our heroes, and they are undeniably our heroes, try to perpetrate like a mass sexual assault. Like, there's no way around that. There just isn't. There isn't. But because I'm an adult, and because I'm not going to try to perpetrate sexual assault anytime soon, and because I can sort of incorporate it and sort of realize what I'm watching, I'm not okay with that scene, but I'm okay with the movie. Right? This is all a long way of saying the director's cut of The Warriors, like
throws all that out the window.
Well, it doesn't remove that stuff. What it does is it turns it. Have you seen it? It turns it into a comic book. And what I mean by that is literally, like, it takes transition between scenes and it turns them animated with like white lines and stuff. The way that Ang Lee's Hulk did.
Sure.
Where like shot, but what that does is you can't give yourself over to the catharsis of of the snake charming, right? Right? Like you can't do it. And because of that, you're just left with, wow, I am choosing to watch a terrible movie that has terrible people doing terrible things in it. And that's it. Like it takes the fun out. And I know that sounds weird, but it takes the fun out. And it's the only DVD that I have ever given away. I gave it away.
I'm with you. All right, let's
moving on. That was the longest conversation anyone has ever had about the Warriors,
including the people who made it. So
yes, Walter Hill.
We had comic book panels. Shh, I already did it.
It's fine.
Moving on.
Number 9. By federal mandate, all movies, past, present, and future, must be altered to heavily employ one of the following: A, the star wipe. I'm guessing that's the Star Wars like whoosh. Right?
I looked it up, and a star wipe is literally like when it transitions from screen like a wipe, but in the shape of a star.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
Okay,
if it was the Star Wars wipe, which is just a wipe,
right?
By the way, I would have chosen that without even looking at B and C.
Yes.
I think every movie should have a wipe.
Yes.
Moving on.
B, smell-o-vision. There's an asterisk to this. Here's the asterisk. All home entertainment systems are forcibly retrofitted with smell-o-vision, so no voluntarily staying back in the Stone Age. Also, no nose plugs.
Okay.
C, Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump edited into the background, looking around quizzically.
Okay. First of all, I love this question.
Me too.
I just want to say that right away.
Me too.
And I love that he chose a star wipe, because he really did choose 3 things that will make all movies ridiculous. I mean, if he had just chosen a wipe, it would have been the obvious choice, because you could do that in movies and still maintain some level of dignity.
Yep.
But the star wipe just erases dignity. You know, smell-o-vision is a whole other thing. That sounds just awful. Like smell-o-vision sounds terrible.
It can't be smell-o-vision. Like that can't be our answer.
Although I would go to bed to Willy Wonka every night, and wake up fatter. I'd wake up eating a cinnamon roll like while I was asleep.
That's right.
How did I do that? Where did this come from?
Right. Your alarm clock would be you like gently choking on the cinnamon bun. Yes.
My answer is unquestionably Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump edited into the background looking around quizzically, because I actually have thought in the past, wouldn't it be great for something like that? I would love for every movie that was serious to have just, because could be like, you wouldn't have to say anything. It would just be a cameo. And I would love it. I would love every movie to have that. I don't have I don't know what else to say about it. I can just keep saying that over and over again, but that's how I feel. Like, that's actually a thing I would totally be for. You know?
Yeah.
Like, Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump edited into the background of every movie. Yes.
I won't go. That is my answer as well. I won't go so far as to say I am for it. I can't quite make that leap with you.
But we can't all go to the same places, but yeah.
But also I will say this. Picture this. Okay?
I am picturing
The Deer Hunter. Okay?
Yes.
They're in the POW camp.
Yep.
They're at the table. They're doing the whole Russian roulette, I want to kill myself because I'm watching this scene thing. And then through the window, you see Tom Hanks running, carrying Bubba. Just for a second.
Yes. See, this is what I love about this, is it creates scenarios in which you have to try to find the least ridiculous moment.
Yes.
For Forrest Gump to show up in a movie.
Yes.
Like get Forrest Gump in the crowd at a boxing match in Raging Bull.
Yes.
Like Forrest Gump walking into Jackrabbit Slim's and watching Vincent Vega and Mia Wallace dancing.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that's.
Yeah. I love it. I love this. I love it.
All day long, I can do this. All day long.
Tom, Rita, make this happen. Okay.
Seriously. I like that you added Rita. Rita, get your husband back to work. Really? What has he been doing lately?
Right. You know he respects her opinion. So, like
he's a lovely man who respects his wife. So let's move on.
Here's the deal. If we get her on board, he'll be on board, right?
I'm with you. You got me.
Number 10. You must give the Academy Award for Best Picture to one of the following Mel Gibson movies.
This is a brutal one.
Yes. This will not only give the Oscar to a movie that didn't deserve one, but take it away from the movie that historically won. Phil, take 10 to 15 seconds and tell the people who don't know why he's asking this specific question.
Andy Roth and I, one Philip Duvall, Andy Roth and I watched every single Mel Gibson movie in a row, in chronological order. We watched one per week at least until we were done. It took us about a year, and we talked about them on a little thing called Project Melway. And the movies that Damon lists are all, well, they're not his, they are three of the worst.
Right, yes.
They are three of the worst.
Yep, yes.
All right, go ahead, Andy.
So,
by the way, all of those podcasts are still available on our website and on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to them or watch them. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's a life-altering.
It'll change your life.
Experience.
Oh yeah, totally. Tim. Very briefly, Piper Laurie, who, if you know her at all, you know her either as the sex pot from the Paul Newman billiards movie The Hustler, or as Carrie's crazy, crazy, crazy mother in the original movie of Carrie.
She plays some sort of mashup of those two characters.
It's true. She is both of those characters in one, falling in love with the basically mentally handicapped Mel Gibson.
But adorably gorgeous Mel Gibson.
It's true. Tim. Displacing Kramer versus Kramer.
Oh, wow.
B. Attack Force Z. A young Sam Neill and Mel Gibson are part of an Australian attack force in some war that I don't remember. It's a war movie where literally nothing happens. It's like...
there's a little bit of kung fu for 5 minutes.
That's right. Attack Force Z, displacing Gandhi. And C, Mrs. Sofel, Mel Gibson disproving the theory that he has chemistry with everyone with Diane Keaton, who has chemistry with just about everyone. And also Matthew Modine is in it and is terrible. And it's about 1903, what is it, Pittsburgh? It's just the worst.
I just threw up. When you said 1903 Pittsburgh, I almost threw up.
It's just terrible.
It is.
Displacing Amadeus. Can I go first?
Andy, if you like.
So okay, let me tell you the one that I have to throw out right now. You're not getting me to ever displace Amadeus. That's not going to happen. Okay. So C is out. And also, let's not forget, folks, when we finished Project Melway, we did an award ceremony called the Melgies, also available on our YouTube channel and on our website. The Melgies, we gave an award to the worst movie, and Mrs. Sofel won that movie, that Melgie award. Okay.
Can I say something about that?
Please do.
Woof.
So that's not happening. And I love Amadeus unreasonably, so that's not happening. I did a little research, Phil. So if Kramer versus Kramer didn't win, okay, here are the other nominees that year. In other words, here are the other presumably deserving movies that Tim would be getting it over, okay?
By making that half of a sentence, you've already done more work on this question than I have. Continue.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Kramer versus Kramer, 1.
Okay.
The other nominees, Apocalypse Now. All that jazz. Okay. Norma Ray. Okay. And Breaking Away, which is my favorite bicycling movie of all time.
On that long list, it breaks away and it takes through the cake.
So
it's amazing to me that there was a year when Apocalypse Now was made and they bothered nominating other things for anything.
That's fair. He didn't did it win anything? I don't think it won anything.
I don't want to talk about the world's confusion around Apocalypse Now.
That's fair.
Because it should be just one of those things that we all just shut up about. But go ahead.
Right. And then Gandhi won, and this is for Attack Force Z. The other nominees, Missing, a really good movie. The Verdict.
Oh.
Maybe my favorite Paul Newman performance, and he's in my top 5 actors of all time.
Right.
Tootsie. And The Trifle. E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
E.T. was nominated for Best Picture?
Heck yeah.
That makes that. Hey, listen, that's glory. Don't get me
I know,
wrong.
I know that
love
wasn't a complaint. So,
Wow.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
I'm going with Tim. Replacing Kramer versus Kramer for a couple of reasons.
Yep.
One, of the three winners, it's my least favorite. Okay? Also, while, Apocalypse Now is a titanic filmmaking achievement, and I really do dig Breaking Away quite a bit, the other nominees in the year that Gandhi won are they're just a murderer's row. And also, frankly, I still have confusing feelings about Piper Laurie and Tim. I have confusing feelings.
Andy, your confusing feelings were the thing that led me to pick Tim myself. Not my confusing feelings. I was like, God, but that movie confuses Andy so much. It confuses his loins. I choose it.
I'm glad I could help there.
I choose Tim as well. And let me just say, I did nowhere near the amount of work that you did. I'm not comparing the other options at all.
Sure. Sure.
Amadeus, Gandhi, Kramer versus Kramer. Unquestionably, Kramer versus Kramer is my least favorite of those movies.
Sure.
It's also a movie where, like, it is just depressing, and I'm not sure. And here's a word I'm going to use. I think it's needlessly depressing, but I could be wrong about that.
Yes.
In the sense that, did I really need to feel that way about anything ever? The way that they make me feel about Meryl Streep, did I really need to feel that way?
Yeah.
Like, it's tough. It's tough. I'm not sure what the point of Kramer versus Kramer existing is.
Yeah.
Gandhi is the best case scenario of a historical biography film.
Yes. Yes.
It is completely hagiographical and works completely anyway. It is completely overwrought, and it works 100%.
Yes.
It is like,
well said.
That's it. It most historical biographies are, if they're done right, they are, but they're not usually, even when they're done right, like that sort of you can sort of see the strings showing as they're being pulling the puppets. Not in this, dude. It is, Ben Kingsley takes what should be sort of, he inhabits Gandhi. There's so many jokes you could make about it, except it's really hard to if you just watch the movie. It makes you believe in the real life Gandhi in the way that the movie wanted you to.
Right.
And I think it is utterly successful in that case. Amadeus is also a historical biography, but it is, of course, based on a play. Right. And it's so there's just let's all stop and just recognize nothing's touching Amadeus for any reason. It's just a beautiful piece of work.
I was watching this movie. Real quick.
Mrs.
This movie
Sofel makes me so angry.
Oh, yeah. So angry. I was watching Amadeus with my dad, and it was, I don't know if it was his first time watching it. It was at least his first time watching it in years, and it was my first time watching it. And we got to the scene where he is dictating part of the Requiem to Salieri piece by piece.
Oh.
And it was so good that my dad and I got to the end of the scene, I turned to my dad, and he was like, "Can we watch that again?" I was like, "That's exactly what I was about to ask."
That's the right thing to say.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Sofel was the worst thing that ever happened, and I had to pick which movie made me the least angry.
Yeah.
And actually, Tim makes me the least angry, and Kramer versus the Kramer versus the Kramer makes me the most angry. So I think that was my choice.
I like it,
but don't get me wrong, I'd rather watch Kramer versus Kramer than Tim. just to be clear about my feelings.
Just to be clear,
in case we were worried that I was actually picking one over the other.
That's right, right.
Okay, Landy, Let me just say, we're about to move on to part 4, the final part of this thing, and I might get angry at Damon again. It is brutal.
I know.
He's just, I think he's forgetting that he's playing with people's lives.
That's right. Yes, it's true. It's true. Okay, so part 4, going off of what Phil just said, part 4 is titled, "I Am Become Death, Destroyer of Worlds."
Well, that's
Damon,
his business.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Delete number 11. Delete one of the following that guys from existence. Also, folks, if you want to write your own gauntlet, Damon, this is not a complaint. You don't have to make it this long, because clearly we talk about every question. You don't have to make it this long. Question 11. Delete one of the following that guys from existence. That guy being defined as, oh, it's that guy. It's an actor or actress you know, you like, and everything they do, but you don't necessarily know their name. For example, John Hawkes, Ben Mendelsohn. Look him up. I bet you've liked a performance. Okay.
Right. And I know you're right, because I don't even know who Ben Mendelsohn is, and now I have to look him up.
Nice. You do, and I bet you've liked a performance of his. The movies still exist. The role is just recast.
Oh, I love this guy.
Right? What do you love him in?
Oh, Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, sure, yes. A few weeks ago, I watched Animal Kingdom that has Joel Edgerton in it and Jackie Weaver. So good. He is amazing in it. He's phenomenal. He's also very good in Place Beyond the Pines. Okay. Delete one of the following that guys from existence. The movie still exists. The role is just recast. A. Stephen Tobolowsky, who you will know.
Stephen Tobolowsky is Needlehead Ned.
Yes.
Ned Ryerson from Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day.
Bing!
He's also Werner Brandis. My name is my passport. Verify me. From Sneakers.
Yes.
And he is a crazy Ku Klux Klan guy in Mississippi Burning.
Yes.
And he has a delightful podcast, by the way. A delightful podcast.
Nice.
He was also on Glee in its first season, and he
Yes.
was on Mindy Project in its first season. I could talk all day about Stephen Tobolowsky. Guess who's not getting deleted from my list? Okay, continue.
J.K. Simmons, who you probably know as J. Jonah Jameson, the newspaper guy from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, or you know as Juno's dad in Juno.
Of which, by the way, he is glorious in both.
Oh, totally.
Glorious. His
Totally.
J. Jonah Jameson is beyond compare.
Yes, agreed.
To the degree that I just assumed that when they made the new one, they were going to keep him anyway.
Yes.
Like I really did. I was like,
Yeah.
what are you going to come on? He's also like Mountain Guy or some name like that in The Killers, which is the Coen brothers. I think the Coen brothers' least successful film, like artistically,
Sure.
but he is fantastic in it.
And C, Stephen Root, who
Oh, boy.
you undoubtedly know as Milton. Okay, well, I guess I have to burn down the building from
Yep.
Office Space.
Well
and
done,
many,
Andy.
many other small roles that he always makes his own. Go.
Okay. I'm going to answer because I've made my decision, so I'm going to answer quickly, but I want you to know that this was not an easy decision.
Okay.
I get rid of J.K. Simmons, and it really is simply because, I mean, of the three, I know.
Okay.
I love him. I
I-
love J.K. Simmons.
Bro, I know it.
Stephen Tobolowsky and Stephen Root both are named Stephen, and that's why. No, just kidding. It's. I mean, they are, but that's not why.
Right. I'm not kidding about the fact they're both named
they're-
Stephen.
Their performances, they are to me definitive that guys, and they maintain that role. Whereas J.K. Simmons now stars in his own television show, he will get bigger parts. But the movies in which Stephen Root and Stephen Tobolowsky are those guys are more iconic movies, and their performances as those guys in those movies are more important to me.
Interesting.
Like, that's it. I know it's tough because J. Jonah Jameson is, I mean, it is just his performance is brilliant.
Right.
It is no skin off J.K. Simmons. He is amazing.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine Groundhog Day without Ned Ryerson.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine Sneakers without Werner Brandis. I can't imagine Office Space without Milton. Or, by the way, half of the things that Mike Judge has done.
Yeah.
Or the Coen brothers, or Justified. I mean, they use Stephen Root all the time.
Right.
So it's a tough call for me. But but J.K. Simmons had to go, and I'm sorry, J.K. and I hate Damon for this question.
This was a tough one for me too, and it came down to J.K. Simmons or Stephen Root, and I'm going with Stephen Root, and here's why.
Okay.
Because, and honestly, I think it comes down to this. I think you placed more importance, neither good nor bad. I think you placed more importance on that guy part of the equation.
Sure.
Stephen Root, to me, will always be two people. Okay, and one of them is a that guy performance. It's Milton in Office Space, obviously. But the other thing he'll be is what was his name? Jimmy James from News Radio, right?
Right.
And-
Oh, I forgot he was on that. Oh my gosh.
Yes, and as wonderful as he is on Justified, you know you're not getting me to say a bad word about Justified. Like Stephen Tobolowsky, I don't need to say anything because you're absolutely right. Needle Nose Ned.
Here is your Oscar for that guy of all time.
Indeed.
This is actually just some salt, but that's okay.
Indeed.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons, his performances that I mean, nothing's as iconic as Milton in Office Space, but
true.
He has more of them in movies, right? And Stephen Root, perhaps unfairly, will always be a TV guy to me because I knew him for years from News Radio, even though that wasn't a show I watched every week. And the other thing is this: even if you take that aside, because I don't want to get like a movies versus television thing. If I think about Stephen Root's, and maybe this is just me, but like performances, that guy performances that I remember distinctly, it's Milton and it's whatever his character's name was from Dodgeball, and that's it. Which is not to say he isn't good in the Coen Brothers movies.
That's mostly your fault.
Okay.
For not knowing him and other things, but
that's fair.
But there's do you know what this Gauntlet's not going to do?
What's that?
Get betwixt you and me.
Thanks, Boo.
I think we all agree that the three of these men are gems.
Oh, gems. Gems. Yes.
Honestly, name something else that J.K. Simmons has been in besides Juno and Spider-Man. I
can't.
And that's the problem.
That's fair.
Oh, that Coen Brothers movie is called Lady Killers, not Killers. Lady Killers.
Got it.
Anyways, okay. Okay. That's why you're wrong. Okay. Number 12.
I'm okay with being wrong there.
Hey, if being wrong there is never mind. I don't want to.
If being wrong there is wrong, I don't want to.
Never. Nah. It's anybody's time.
Wait, give me a second because I'm gonna come up with something that I liked him in. Wasn't he in The Ref?
Maybe. I haven't seen The Ref since I was in high school, to be completely honest.
All right. I'm just gonna say, I think he was really good in that. Okay. I mean, how have you not seen The Ref since high school? That's one of my favorite Christmas movies. Lady, your husband's not dead. He's hiding. Okay, here we go.
No, it's funny. I don't know. I just haven't. Haven't. I'm looking up his. I mean, he's just been in 1,000 things. He was in Whiplash. No, that's not a real thing. Yeah, this is tough. I've made my choice. I've made my choice.
That's fine.
I've set my piece of counter to 3.
Number 12.
But you will not be comfortable forever.
I hate you. 12.
Go ahead.
In a non-coming between us kind of way, I hate you. 12. History is altered such that one of the following films was released with its originally written or alternate ending. This is a fascinating question. I love this.
It really is.
Yeah. A. Alien. The alien tears off Ripley's head, then communicates with Earth in her voice.
To stop everybody and be clear, these were the original written or alternative endings that already existed that didn't get made or didn't get picked.
Yes.
So Damon is not coming up with these. Right. He has done some research, America.
Right.
And parts unknown. Okay.
Crazy stuff. All true. Somebody sat around a table and said, you know what might be a good idea? These 3 things.
Okay.
Alien. The alien tears off Ripley's head, then communicates with Earth in her voice. B. Terminator 2. Sarah is an old lady. John is a senator. Judgment Day never happened. C. John Carpenter's The Thing. Kurt Russell's character is rescued and shown to be human.
Okay.
You want to go?
Okay, this was a harder choice than... This was a very difficult choice for me.
Was it?
Alien and Terminator 2 I grew up on. The Thing I saw for the first time just a couple years ago. So the other 2 are more important to my development, but I think The Thing is a perfectly executed film.
Mm-hmm.
They all are. All 3 of these movies are, in my mind, perfectly executed films.
Indeed.
I think Alien and Terminator 2 might be better movies, and The Thing manages to sort of kind of be a B movie, but I want to be careful when I say that. all of John Carpenter's movies have like a B movie level to
Yeah.
them, and I don't know why that is, but the best of John Carpenter's movies transcend that while continuing to be a B movie. They just, I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does.
They transcend the B movie genre, but not to the degree that they would ever win an Oscar.
And I want to be clear, not only do I agree with you, but bringing it back to this question, I don't know that this would be my answer every day, but on most days, the answer to the question, what is John Carpenter's best movie, I would answer The Thing.
Yeah, of the ones that, yeah, I think I would too. Okay, that I've seen. Okay.
Sure.
So, that being said, okay, so let's go through these again. Alien. The alien tears off Ripley's head, then communicates with Earth in her voice. So at the end of Alien, instead of Ripley living, right, and the alien dies,
her head is popped off like a champagne cork and used as a puppet.
And the alien uses it as a puppet.
Yes.
Which probably would have looked ridiculous. But holy moly, would have taken one of the darkest movies ever made and made it darker.
That's right. I mean, you're not wrong. That's a fair statement.
Terminator 2, Sarah is an old lady, John is a senator, Judgment Day never happened. This is sort of what you hope, how you hope Terminator 2 ends, in the sense that it ends with a narration and a shot of the road, and sort of we'll see what happens.
Yes.
But this would give us certainty.
Yes.
That's the ending I would hope for.
Yeah.
In the words of The Dark Knight, but probably not the ending that I need.
Right.
Okay.
All right, I'm with you.
Okay. John Carpenter's The Thing, Kurt Russell's character is rescued and shown to be human. The thing that makes John Carpenter's The Thing transcend its own genre is the fact that he is willing to not show whether or not Kurt Russell's character is human, even though we assume he is.
We do assume he is.
But the fact that they do that gives you that inkling, but it doesn't go either way. It just lets it be a possibility, is one of the reasons why that movie works.
Yes.
Similar
Agreed.
to the way that the director's cut of Blade Runner allows us to wonder about Harrison Ford's character.
That's fair, except I know this.
You don't think it allows us to wonder?
No, I do think it allows. Well, that's debatable, but I think it's pretty. If it's not that, I think it's pretty close to that. I know I have to turn in my film nerd card for this, but I think that's true. I just don't necessarily think it makes it better. I just don't. Our combined and collective ambivalence over the quality of the film Blade Runner has been well recorded and documented on this show. It's true. Oh my God, it's a visionary movie because it's set in the future and it's raining all the time.
I think it is a visionary. Here's the deal. I think it is a visionary movie from a visual standpoint.
Agreed.
From a visual standpoint, I think Ridley Scott is a visual visionary. I just said those words. An aesthetic visionary.
Or a visual-nary.
Oh.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there. My choice.
Yes.
Ready for my choice. Enough beating around the proverbial bush.
Indeed.
My choice is Alien. And this was a tough one.
Okay.
My choice is Alien for the reasons that I said. I think all three have perfect endings, but I think if you tear off Ripley's head, if you tear off Ripley's head and communicate with her Earth in her voice, then you make like I said before, then the movie becomes even darker, which I think it could handle.
Sure.
I think it could then become the darkest movie that was ever made, and I'm comfortable with that.
Can I respond?
Yes.
First, there is one other thing that Blade Runner has going for it, and that is Rutger Hauer as Roy Batty's awesome death monologue. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Just so cool. Anyway, okay.
Hey, listen, it's got plenty going for it.
You're right.
It's about a half hour too long.
Agreed.
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't get to say this often, but I think I'm going to convince you to come around to my point of view.
Okay.
The thing about you, Phil, is that you're wrong. All right?
Oh. So far you're not getting
I haven't started to build my case. I would be very disappointed if you you're wrong. Do you agree with me yet? Yeah, no, that's not
I'm in.
So here's why my choice is Terminator 2. Okay, first off, agreed about The Thing. Agreed. Just The choice here is between Alien and Terminator 2. There are two ways to look at this. One, I don't know that it would make it darker because I don't know that the ending to Alien would be darker because I don't know that special effects of the time were up to making it not look ridiculous. Okay? Terminator 2, it works as is, but this wouldn't not work, right? It is sort of a tragedy of Sarah Connor's life that she does so much and it doesn't work, which is not, that in and of itself does not make it a bad ending, right? Again, we're dealing with three wonderful endings here.
Okay.
If you change the ending of Alien in this way, you don't get Aliens.
I've thought about that. No, I've thought about that.
If you change Terminator 2, you don't get Terminator 3 or
Well, let me just say, you could still make a movie where they go back to that planet. It wouldn't have Ripley in it. It would have another badass female character if they wanted to. Hold on, let me finish my thought here real quick.
Sure, yeah.
But you wouldn't necessarily have Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. And the concern with the reason those movies exist, or let me say this, the reason we had hopes for them was why?
Because of Ripley.
Because of Ripley.
It's
if
true.
you get rid of Ripley in the first one, then what they do with the sequels doesn't bother us as much. Because I agree you don't have aliens, and that's bad. Andy, that's bad. Although again, you might still have aliens.
You
could have aliens.
You could do
Jim
it.
Cameron just casts Linda Hamilton instead of Sigourney Weaver as some random female who takes everybody down. But then you also don't have Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection and Alien versus Predator. Maybe that's great. Or if you do, you care less about them inherently, and that's interesting. Now that being said,
yeah.
No Terminator 3, no Terminator, whatever that movie's called, Restitution, Installation, Severance. I forget. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. So okay, yes, that everything you're saying makes sense, and yes, I like that you could still do Aliens, but without Ripley. But I guess my worry is this: it wouldn't be Aliens, and I know that's I don't mean to say that in a glib way. I mean, one of the things that makes Aliens amazing, there are plenty of movies where soldiers shoot at aliens, right? What makes that movie amazing is Ripley and Newt, okay? And it isn't just random badass female action star. It is Ripley, specifically, because you had the thing with her daughter and the whole, like she had a daughter when she left for Alien, and by the time they find her, her daughter's dead. And so Newt is her surrogate, right? That is the replacement.
Yeah, you're right.
And I guess, I mean, name a more iconic female action star. I'm not sure you can, with the exception possibly of Sarah Connor, but she's only an action star in Terminator 2, right? She isn't an action star in the first one. And I don't know what it says. Not that the answer to this has to be predicated on what it does for feminism. But what does it say if the Alien series becomes almost like a James Bond kind of thing, except where James Bond dies at the end of a couple movies.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, let me say this.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready for it?
I don't know, but you're gonna have to give it to me. You know.
You got me.
Woo!
Okay. You win. Now, let me say this. Let me give you my reasons why. One, because I just want you to shut up. No, that's not why.
Totally valid, and I will wear you down.
I think as much as I tried to create a reason why Aliens would. Oh, by the way, both Aliens and Terminator 2.
Yes.
James Cameron.
Oh yes.
A lot of faith we have in that man, or did once.
Yes, it doesn't shy away from the female action stars.
And so I was putting a lot of faith in him to do Aliens correctly. But I'll tell you what, I think that you're still right. I think what part of the reason Aliens works is that it's a different genre, but it works out like it's a miracle. And the idea that if you had it would have made Aliens a lesser film, and whereas Terminator 2 doing what it did would have made sure that those other Terminator movies didn't exist.
Right.
I think Terminator 2 and Alien are both far superior movies to The Thing. So it's funny that The Thing isn't part of this conversation.
That's right. That's right.
It's like, do whatever you want to that movie. Who cares? but I think actually the difference is because Alien and Terminator 2 are bigger, better movies. That like what happens with them is more important. Like if Terminator 2 was not, if the Terminator series was not sullied by becoming a series.
Yes.
And if Alien had the opposite was true about Alien was not like as bad as a lot of the Alien remakes are and stuff. It's still a world where like if they made another one, I'd want to know what they try to do with it.
Yes.
That's how good Alien and Aliens are.
Agreed.
You are correct. We are agreed. You are right. The answer is and by the way, I think Jim Cameron could have come up with a way for Sarah as an old lady, John as a senator, Judgment Day never happened, that would have managed to keep the same tone.
Sure. Yes. It's true.
I hope.
I mean, we'll never know, but I hope you're right.
Okay.
Number 13.
Right. How long?
Lucky number 13. Remove the song from the final scene of one of these movies. Just the song. The sound effects and dialogue are still present, and the ending is otherwise unchanged. A. 16 Candles, the song in question, If You Were Here by the Thompson Twins. B. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Oh Yeah, by Yellow. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
C. Pretty in Pink, If You Leave by OMD. And this has an asterisk to it. There was no way you would ever pick The Breakfast Club, so I left it out. Damon?
That's actually true.
Solid call. Good call.
Okay. This one was actually very easy for me, and we can talk about it, but there's not a lot for me to say.
Sure, go for it.
He's right that no one would have chosen The Breakfast Club. In fact,
Zero people.
I actually expected it to be there and was like, that's stupid. And I mean, he beat me to the punch. It was beautiful.
Right. Literally negative people. Like less people than zero.
But I actually feel the same way about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh yeah, is deeply iconic.
Yes, agreed.
So it's really between 16 Candles and Pretty in Pink.
Yes.
And the reality is 16 Candles is a superior movie, so I just wouldn't mess with it. Pretty in Pink means less to me emotionally. Doesn't mean it's not a good movie. I'm sure I saw it when it came out in the theaters, which made me, I think, 8.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I've seen Pretty in Pink since, which is my own problem. So
So I'll tell you.
So to me, it's very simple. Pretty in Pink, do whatever you want with it. I kind of don't care.
So I was struggling between the ones in this question that are not Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because you're absolutely right. But you've helped me decide, and I agree with you. Here was my struggle. 16 Candles, I agree with everything you've said, but I like the song at the end of Pretty in Pink more. If You Leave, I think, is a better song than If You Were Here. So that was my struggle, but you're absolutely right. It's not about the song. If I want to listen to the song, I can go listen to the song. 16 Candles needs to stay the way it is. It's Pretty in Pink. Sorry. Molly, you still have 16 Candles.
Right.
So, shall we move on? And there's not much to say about it. I mean, this was a good. We should not say it's not a good question. It is a good question. It's an interesting sort of.
Any question that makes you think about Ferris Bueller's Day Off and think about John Hughes movies in the 80s in general is a great question.
Yes, it's right. You're right. That's right. Number
Right.
14. You can save only one of these sci-fi movies from being retroactively recast with the director's original preference. All sequels are recast accordingly, and you will probably care about at least some of them. Okay, so I read this question wrong. This was, we get to only save one of the series. Like, the other two get recast. Okay.
Well, that's what it says.
No, I know, but I just read it the other way. Like
you were reading it as like, which one of these would we recast?
Yes.
I think I did too, actually. I think I did too.
A. Will Smith as Neo in The Matrix. B. Meryl Streep as Ripley in Alien. C. Sylvester Stallone as the Terminator in The Terminator. Asterisk for that one. James Cameron thought of O.J. Simpson before Stallone, but I want you guys to actually consider this casting choice for more than a nanosecond. Again, Damon, well played.
Yeah, although I'm not sure. O.J. Simpson might have made me consider it more.
You know why he wasn't, why they moved on for him, right?
Because they didn't believe anyone would think he was a killer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make no comments as to whether or not that might be funny or why it might be funny.
I mean, essentially, they were right. Do the math.
I didn't think about it in those terms, and now I'm infinitely sadder.
Now you can't not. Okay.
And now I'm infinitely sadder.
So if I choose one of these to be saved as it was supposed to be,
right,
then the other two get recast this way.
Yes.
I have my choice, and it will surprise you, I think.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I'll go first. I'm going to recast. I'm going to save Schwarzenegger in the Terminator. And the reason is this. Meryl Streep as Ripley, this kills me. This kills me. The only question in this gauntlet harder than this one for me is the next and last one. Sigourney Weaver, it made her career. It's a perfect performance. She is truly iconic. But if there's a step down, if you're taking a step down to Meryl Streep, okay. I am on record as saying that I think Keanu Reeves in the Matrix movies, I think he's the only person that could play that. I really do. I think, but the reason I don't choose it is because only one of those three movies is worth anything at all. And Will Smith wouldn't have. I honestly don't think Will Smith would have been bad. I just don't think he would have brought. I think he would have been miscast, and I think Keanu Reeves actually was perfectly cast. But Sylvester Stallone as the Terminator is totally absurd. Just ridiculous. There is, I mean, Schwarzenegger is short, right? But
yeah. Oh no, I know.
So
I know.
So that's I'm not
Okay.
married to this, but that's my answer and that's my reasoning.
I have the same answer for different reasons, but I have the same answer.
Okay. All right.
It's hard for me to take Sylvester Stallone. It's hard for me to take Sylvester Stallone seriously in most things. Although in the early '80s was still a time when he was someone you could take seriously.
Yep.
But the otherworldliness of Schwarzenegger and his coming, I mean, this sounds so whatever, American centric, but him coming to this world and having a different accent.
Yes.
It adds to it so tremendously.
Yes. Well said.
I agree with you. You'd think because I'm willing to change to Meryl Streep with Alien the same way that I that other question, somehow that I might not just love Sigourney Weaver and love the Alien series. Yes. No, man, love.
Yes.
But and Will Smith as Neo would be interesting. I love Keanu Reeves, but I'd love to see what Will Smith would have done with it.
Sure.
I actually think that the problem with that would be that there is an opaqueness to Keanu Reeves as a performer that works so deeply to his advantage in The Matrix.
Yes.
And some people might think of that like some people will use that that opacity as like some sort of like it's a backhand compliment.
Job, right?
And I don't mean it at all. I think he's fantastic.
I agreed.
But I still think it would have been interesting. Also, here's the reality. I don't care what happens to the Matrix series as much as I love the first one. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whereas Alien I care deeply, but here's the thing. I almost want don't want it to be recast. I love Sigourney Weaver, all that. There's a part of me that would love to have seen what Meryl Streep's career would have been like had she actually done this.
Interesting.
Just gone for something totally crazy. I just feel like this is an area like people are like, oh, Meryl Streep can do anything. No, she can. She doesn't.
Right. That's right.
Let's be clear. She's never done anything like this, and it would be fascinating if she did.
Yeah.
There is like later on when you think of her performance in Adaptation, you start to see something where she's able to kind of go in a different direction, but she never did anything like Alien, and I'd love to see if she could. I'd love to see what kind of thing it would do to her career. So that's my answer, but then again, I don't want any of these changed. But my answer is the same. You don't touch the Terminator. You just don't.
Well said.
You just don't.
Well said.
So, okay.
Question 15, the last question in this gauntlet.
Final question.
This might be the most difficult question. There's only one question in the history of gauntlets that was this difficult for me.
Okay. Not for me, but it's a saddening question for me.
You must go back in a time machine and kill one of the following comic actors at the time listed, leaving posterity to wonder what subsequent performances might have been like. A. Bill Murray, just after completing Stripes. B. Steve Martin, just after completing The Jerk. Gene Wilder, just after completing The Producers. Now, Phil, I'm going to need you to go first here, but here are their filmographies, okay? After Stripes, Bill Murray, Tootsie, Ghostbusters, Little Shop of Horrors, Scrooged, Quick Change, What About Bob, Groundhog Day, Mad Dog and Glory, Ed Wood, Kingpin, and then you get Rushmore and all of his I'm not just a comic actor anymore stuff. That's Bill Murray. That's what you're losing. Okay?
Yep.
After The Jerk, Steve Martin, The Man with Two Brains, All of Me, Three Amigos, Little Shop of Horrors, Roxanne, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Parenthood, My Blue Heaven, L.A. Story, Father of the Bride, Grand Canyon.
The answer, I mean, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, all of this stuff. Gene Wilder, after The Producers, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and then a bunch of stuff with Richard Pryor. Now, I'm going to guess, and then I want you to go. I'm going to guess that your answer is Gene Wilder. All I will say to you is that I don't know that it. I'm not. I don't think I can say that there are not two comedies more important to me growing up than Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, but it wouldn't be a totally crazy thing for me to say with my upbringing.
Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein are unquestionably two of the 3 or 4, maybe 5 most influential comedies of my upbringing. Unquestionably, I would not be who I was if not for Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. Yes. It is unquestionable that is the case. I would kill Gene Wilder anyway, and that is not like this is a terrible question. It's an awful, mean, terrible question. But But here's the thing. Ghostbusters, Scrooged, What About Bob, just all the Wes Anderson stuff, Ed Wood. I mean, you just said it. Steve Martin, Roxanne, L.A. Story, Father of the Bride, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I get it. But here's the thing. Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein were formative to me growing up. I don't really watch them anymore. I'm not saying if they were on, I wouldn't. Or like, They're not good. It's like they did the thing they needed to do. I still, crave Steve Martin and Bill Murray movies. Crave. Gene Wilder is a comic genius. No question. His work in Blazing Saddles. His work in...
shoot with this hand.
Oh my God. His work in Young Frankenstein. His work in Silver Streak, and at least one other Richard Pryor movie. But that's the problem. I don't even remember their names, and I don't mean that to be rude. I get it. It's just Gene Wilder's career after that, after those 2 shining moments.
Yes.
It just isn't. I don't know. I choose Gene Wilder, but it's not because of his lack. It's because the other 2 are some of not only my favorite comic actors of all time, they're some of my favorite actors of all time, period. And that's why I choose that.
Damon, you're the worst. Damon, you're just the worst.
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
He's right, Damon. You are the worst.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
I gotta remove Bill Murray from the running because not only do I see. Here's the deal. I agree with everything you just said. Everything you just said about the actors individually, not about the movies. Bill Murray is in maybe my favorite movie of all time in Rushmore. I can't get, and he is a large part of why that movie might be my favorite movie.
Right.
Can't get rid of it. Steve Martin. And the reason I would keep Steve Martin is not actually for his comedic performances. Okay, that's not true because Roxanne and stuff like that. But like Parenthood.
Oh man, I didn't even say Parenthood. That's
right.
My favorite, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Right, Parenthood, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a movie I haven't watched in years, and I still feel it as a part of me.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a movie that I need to watch about once a year.
Sure.
So.
Me too. I just don't because I'm not a good person.
Sure.
Gene Wilder. If I get rid of Gene Wilder, I still don't know what my answer to this question is. If I get rid of, because here's the difference. Here's the one place that I diverge from you in your explanation. I crave both Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. I crave them.
Oh, great.
You
That's
know?
good.
Like,
yeah.
And the other thing is, unlike Bill Murray, Gene Wilder and Steve Martin work less now. You know, like Bill Murray is still going strong. Steve Martin, I guess he's sort of getting back in, but there was a time where he didn't make anything. Like Bowfinger was his first movie, good or bad, in years. So, or first movie that captured the national consciousness, I should say. I have just purely a numbers game. I have to go with Gene Wilder, but I hate everything. And Damon, you're the worst. You're just the worst.
Yes.
So I'm saving. I'm not
You
saving
did it.
them. I'm just not killing.
Y'all did it. You broke Andy.
You're
The
the
gauntlet
worst.
broke Andy. The gauntlet broke me, but I recovered. But the gauntlet leaves Andy broken and battered.
Damon, which is, can we just say how astonishing that is at coming from the end of like part one?
I think that I would probably be a lot more upset if my little girl wasn't walking over every once in a while and just snuggling me and then walking away. It's like a balm for my savage wounded soul.
Sure. I'm gonna steal your kid so I can get that balm too.
I think that's a legitimate decision.
I'm stealing. Guys, we have to stop the podcast now because I got to go to California and steal Phil's kid. Well, that brings us to the end of the gauntlet. Damon is the worst, like ever,
Ever. All time.
He's like the anti-Gandhi, basically.
I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah. Yes. Damon, I wish you ill. Really, in all of your future endeavors.
Yeah, I agree with all the things you're saying.
But if you would like to interact with us, not just Damon. Damon, you stay away. You can find us at secondbreakfastpodcast.com. You can find us at Second Breakfast Podcast on Facebook. You can find us at 2NDBKFST on Twitter. Send us questions, either a gauntlet or just a mailbag question. We're going to start answering those again real soon. secondbreakfastpodcast@gmail.com. And that's our story for now, but we will see you again real soon. Anything else, Phil?
I'm not. Yeah. No. No.
We're not in a place. We're not in a place where you can talk about it right now.
I was about to say more mean things to Damon, then I was like, let's leave it.
Yeah.
America, Ireland, China, because we have people there who listen to us. I love you, and we are. You know what I want to say is we're getting back in the saddle. I hope you guys can feel us warming up.
It's warming up that saddle.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Mm-hmm. For Second Breakfast Podcast, I'm Andy Roth, and that's Phil Duvall. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
The most important meal of the day.